Greetings, friends and fam. It is I, Lord Wolfshield, and we are back with another episode of the KINØ. On the KINØ panel with me today, I have a pretty awesome lineup. So let's start with Anna. Hello, how are you doing today?
I am well. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well myself. Now, did you actually watch the movie, or did you just read the Wikipedia like you said you were going to do?
I read the Wikipedia,
Ah,
but
nice.
I also cheated by watching other movie reviews and thank goodness for YouTube clips. So got to see a couple of that. So yeah, I cheated, but now I think I have a good idea of what the movie is about. So
Well, thank you for joining and making the effort. All right, Mr. John Fassbender. Hello, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And like the previous guest stated, I didn't get a chance to see the movie, but given my position in politics, I'm going to go ahead and politician my way out of this by saying that there were a lot of scenes, and I did read the Wikipedia summary of the movie. I have a general idea of what we're going into here, so I'd qualify myself as an expert at this point.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for joining, despite also not being able to watch the movie. I don't necessarily even blame you for not. It's quite the disturbing film.
I
Um,
noticed.
I've never even heard of it before it was announced. So like, oh man, okay, to Wikipedia I go.
Alrighty, now Mariana.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have you. You were the special guest last week, and I'm very glad you were able to join again. Now, did you? I think you actually did watch the movie. You're one of the few
Yes,
on the panel who watched
I
it.
actually watched the movie. Yes, I did.
Alrighty, and last but not least, we have the guest of honor, Jay of Arcane Accents. How are we?
Oh, I'm good. Honor. Thanks. But, with all the effort Anna and John put into researching the movie, they could have just watched the movie.
Right?
That's the
That's
other
the thing. They
You
probably
know,
put
I
like
could
2
have.
hours.
Just a
into it.
thought. Okay, like I really like uncomfortable weird movies. I know not everybody likes that, but it's definitely in that category of uncomfortable, weird, kind of artsy, makes you think, highly symbolic. So it's a fun movie to
Yes.
talk about, I think. That's
Very
why I chose it.
surprising
Exactly.
choice on your end. I was not expecting this.
Well,
I
I wanted to choose Pride and Prejudice the first time you invited me on, but then other people chose it before I could come on.
Yeah,
So,
but like you probably would have picked the what's his face Colin Firth version, right?
oh, I was gonna choose the movie because
Oh,
this is a movie
okay.
show, not the
Because you
miniseries.
prefer you don't you like the Colin Firth version best?
He's a lot better looking, yeah.
Oh, oh man.
No, he's not a lot better looking. He's marginally better looking, but I just think he's actually kind of better at the role personally. But
I don't know. Where do you come down on the Mr. Darcy question, Mariana?
I don't have an opinion. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Do
I'm
you...
all Knightley over here. I don't even care what Mr. Darcy looks like as long as Keira Knightley's in it. So
Nice. Fassbender. Where do you come down on the who's your favorite Mr. Darcy?
yeah, what do you think of the DQ?
Give us your best politician answer.
All right. My best politician answer would be, well, there's a lot of different perspectives you can look at this from, a lot of different avenues, right? And there's valid critiques. There's valid critiques on this point from all sides, but generally we try to take a stance that appeals to a broader audience, paints things with a broader stroke, and that's generally where I lie on the issue.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
That was good. That was very good.
That was.
Thank you.
You
And for the
are-
record,
He's gonna be a president one day, y'all.
yeah, sometimes I'm told I make a good politician, and I'm not sure whether to take it as a compliment or an insult. Generally, given the nature of our politicians, probably not so
Well,
good, but maybe we can change that.
There's a lot of valid criticisms, and it could go a lot of different ways. And
Certainly. Of course, exactly. See, look, this is what we need right here. I will say for the record, the amount of time it took me to do my research, which is about 7 minutes and 20 seconds, I didn't have enough time to watch the movie. However, I could have put it on 10 times speed and gone through, which I did consider, but that would have taken far too much work, so I decided not to. And I just read
Then
that.
you can't appreciate all the vistas of the movie.
I did, like I said, I
Yeah.
did go ahead and take a look at the scenes. I looked at a number of the scenes, which again amounted to probably about 13 minutes. When you add that all together, I mean, that's over 20 minutes of time. I mean, that's a long time.
Putting in the work.
I'm trying.
Alrighty, so this next segment is called Interviewing the Guest, and it's the segment in which we interview the guest. Hold on a second,
no.
let me get this this up. Okay, here we go. All right, so I kind of wanted to just do a little interview of Jay of Arcane Accents and get to know her a little bit and get to hear her thoughts and whatnot on her work. So I got a few things up here. What do you call these things, Jay?
They're altar sconces or just sconces or, painted shelves, whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to use them for, decoration, or if you use them for religious purposes.
Very nice. This is kind of like one of your specialties. I see you doing a lot of commissions for these, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about any of these?
Well, these are all kind of more recent pieces. There's, on the left there's an Aphrodite piece. I based that on an Art Nouveau poster, actually. And then in the center is Yggdrasil. And I've got, an odal rune pattern going along the shelf. I'm in a custom cut Gothic arch. And then that last one, I actually just finished sealing it. And that's Kelpies. They're based on Pictish Abelerno stones in Scotland.
Whoa, what is that?
It's a really, really old, like early medieval stone carving that's actually part of a cross. And Kelpies are a Celtic mythological creature. It's kind of debated on what exactly they were. In a lot of folklore, they're like evil creatures that like shapeshift and drown you. And then there's others who say it's older than that, and they're actually water horses that carry people into the other world.
Interesting. I've never heard of one of these before.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'll send you a video a very good video someone did on Kelpies that I watched. I like to research stuff before I make the art for it because I feel like knowing more about the mythology behind things helps me capture them more accurately and use the symbolism better.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. And somebody commissioned that. They wanted Kelpies on their sconce.
She didn't want Kelpie specifically. She just wanted something that expressed, this is actually a gift. She wanted something that expressed the ancestry of the person she's gifting this to. And that person is of predominantly Celtic ancestry.
Okay, cool. And then want to show off this one that you commissioned for Mariana.
That's me, and this shelf is for my mama.
Oh, nice. What does she put on it? Like a candle? Like that seems to be what most people use it for.
I actually have a small urn,
Oh.
and that's what sits on the shelf. But I will let Jay talk about it now. Bye-bye.
Well, this is, I think it's kind of open for everybody to kind of get.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's for whatever, the people want to use it for. I'm just, really humbled and just is really incredible to be able to make something so special for somebody, This is the Slavic goddess Mokosh is the theme here. The woman in red with her arms outstretched, and that's her symbol, the cross with the squares. I gilded that. And then Mariana also wanted the purple cone flowers on there. And I added some ravens, and along the shelf portion, I did a Slavic pattern And I also did some wheat, which represents Mokosh. And I put a gilded thunder cross on the shelf as well. Thunder cross, I believe, represents Perun, who is Mokosh's husband in Slavic folklore. Or myth. Yeah.
Yes.
That's like the head thing.
Yeah, her head is her traditional symbol.
Okay.
Yes. And then the thunder cross is what I have on the actual shelf part.
Okay. Gotcha. Let's see here. Some other things you worked on. This is pretty cool. This like gold thing that you made with the snakes.
Yeah. That's actually based on some artifacts that they've had of these four-headed serpent wheel things. I decided to make my own version of it. I sculpted that with polymer clay and gilded it and antiqued it a little bit to give it some age, make it look older. And I fastened it to that board that I painted with poppies and kind of a cool leafy busy pattern.
And then this is like a Gaelic inspired type thing on the other side.
Yeah, that's Irish, that's an Irish piece. I actually made that for a prize for an event that someone was hosting. So somebody won a competition and has that as a trophy now.
Oh, can you say what event that was?
I'd rather not.
Oh, gotcha. Then you also make some signs.
Yeah.
One of these was for traditional apothecary, right?
Well, it wasn't. It was actually these. The bottom one, the White Witch's Apothecary, was actually a little fun Halloween piece that I did end up selling
Okay.
to the lady who runs Traditional Apothecary because she really loved it. And then the Memento Mori piece, that's a more recent one that I did.
All right. And then you make some tables as well.
Yeah, risers, decorative risers. They're good for altars, or they can just be, put with your home decor. Give it depth.
And then some earrings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're quite the jack of all trades with all sorts of different woodworking.
I make a lot of different stuff. I just like making stuff.
And then also you are the founder of the monthly White Art Challenge.
That's right.
Yeah. So when did you start this then?
That was not this last November, but the November before.
Yeah. And so what was kind of the reasoning and inspiration for this then?
It was just kind of an idea I had. I noticed that there was no hub for visual artists with our ideas. There was just nothing really there, and I was like,
you and I we're kind of old heads of the White Art Collective, right? We're kind of the old guard.
That's right.
But that was very music focused. That seemed to be kind of what the most of the artists involved were kind of music focused, and I guess you wanted something more visual artistry focused then, right?
Yeah, and I just kind of had an idea of what could bring people together is something fun, and what's something fun like an art challenge. You have a theme, and people are busy, so because most of the art themes that you see online, it's like everyday challenge. It's like, I'm a parent. Who the hell has time to make a piece of art every day? Not me. And I know a lot of other people don't either. We have jobs, we have kids. So I was like, monthly would be cool. So I just kind of started it, and it just kind of blew up.
Yeah, I love that. I'm very glad to see, because with the White Art Collective is kind of more or less over, with the passing of Jeff Winston. But I'm very glad that you are, kind of you're trying to build up an art scene of your own and kind of carry the torch of what he started to a certain degree. I mean, obviously, I don't want to like you're doing your own thing. Obviously, I'm not trying to say you're copying whack or whatever, but I feel like something like this is very important for our spheres, and I'm very glad that you were doing this.
Thank you.
So this month was your main theme was florals.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got a few examples here of what was the submissions. So we had something by Witch Mother here, some earrings,
Yes.
some Edelweises.
Yes. And this was a collaboration with a small business, small female-owned business called Sovereign Silversmith.
So you didn't. So somebody else did the metal
Yes, the
flowers
silver.
then?
Yes.
And then you did the other stuff.
Yes.
Nice. And then there's a painting here of a tulip, and then some woodworking. What is this? What do you call this?
Pyrography. It's wood burning.
Ah, okay. Pyrography.
And then
That's pretty badass sounding.
yeah. So she did pyrography, and then we also have embroidery.
On the other side, a little bit of another Edelweiss theme thing. So yeah, got a lot going on in your little arts, or not little, sorry, in your art sphere. It's very exciting to see. Do you does anybody else have any thoughts on this? Fassbinder, I think you're kind of part of that art scene as well.
To an extent, I would say, and maybe more so honorarily. I found the arts scene, and I don't think I've expressed this publicly before, but the way I found the art scene was through a channel run by public channel run by Frill Maiden, which then introduced me to the monthly White Art Challenge, and I was not aware that anything else existed. And through the monthly White Art Challenge, I discovered the White Art Collective and some other things, and it's exposed me to a community of very dedicated, solid people that I feel very proud and happy to be hopefully representative of when it comes to our ideology. Before I had my moments where I saw some of the people within the dissident right movement, whatever the term you want to use is, and I said to myself, really, are these the people I really want to put my face and name out to say that I represent this guy? Not really. But when I saw this community, I said, these are people worth advocating for and worth representing to the best of my ability. And as far as my art contribution, I can't draw stick figures, so I have no visual art skills. But I do actually have a submission for this month's floral challenge, probably going to put it out tomorrow. I did a cover of the song Edelweiss by From the Sound of Music.
I love
it. Thank you. It turned out as good as it can be as for someone with no vocal training. But yes, I'm excited to put that out there. And I think, honestly, the biggest inspiration for that was Witch Mother's earrings, given that they were, of course, Edelweiss. So cheers for that. And I'm really honored to be a supporter and somewhat of a contributor in the ways that I can be to the artist community.
Yeah, I love to get more like music submissions for the monthly White Art Challenge.
I can't wait to hear it.
I'm very happy. Hopefully it won't disappoint.
I'm sure it'll be pretty good. I've been thinking about trying to do some cover songs for the monthly White Art Challenges as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's just life kind of gets,
of course,
in the way. Yeah. So, Anna, do you have anything you'd like to say about all this?
Yeah, I just have to say, look, I have no artistic talent as far as visual creation, but I gotta say, this, I think, represents our culture so well. It's beautiful, it's intrinsic, and honestly, I think it's a perfect display of real talent. I mean, I can't replicate this, and I'm just amazed just seeing it. Honestly, I'm just gonna put it out there right now. I think you're gonna get yourself a commission from me here very soon, because I am just absolutely blown away. These are so beautiful.
Commission from who? There's a lot.
Honestly, both. I
Yeah,
mean,
both. Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
it's so beautiful, and as somebody who doesn't have this kind of talent, I always like to collect from people who do have that kind of talent as a gift or my own personal collection. So seriously, thank you for doing this. I'm sure this is really hard work and really time consuming. But I honestly, I think the art scene has as much importance and impact than the more political side of our sphere of
Absolutely.
politics. I can't emphasize that enough.
Well, exactly. I mean, I always say that we are a cultural movement first and foremost, and it's like, what are we fighting for if not our culture, And if you're kind of ignoring that aspect of our scene, it's like, what are you really doing, What are you
Yeah,
really fighting for? You're just kind of, I don't know, just talking to talk, really.
and politics can be draining over time. Yeah, it's
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like you're
yeah.
gonna run into like serious burnout.
Yeah, with art, I mean, how can you have a burnout here? It's either it's relaxing or, I maybe I once in a while I'll do arts and crafts as kind of like a stress relief or puzzles or what have you. I can't see art ever becoming like a burnout for somebody. You're always creating, you're always looking at a final piece and going, "Wow, I made this." I mean, look at
It could definitely be, whenever I make a film, like by the time I like finish making it, I like hate it and want to delete it, and I never want to make another movie again.
what? No way.
Art can be it can be a
I call
job
it the
sometimes. There is
Michelangelo
stuff that you
effect.
don't but every once in a while there is something you just don't enjoy making that you have to. It can be a job, But I just want to start by saying thank you guys so much for the kind words. Yeah, I can't do politics anymore. Like I don't
Um,
follow political stuff and current event stuff anymore. Like I can't. It always bothers me. It always annoys me. I guess I'm just getting old and crotchety and I believe what I believe and no one's changing my mind and I don't want to hear what other people think anymore. Like I don't care what other people think anymore. And also like current events, it's like, yeah, I know things are bad. I know things are fucked. I don't want to see what is fucked today. You know what I
right.
mean? It
Yeah, and
just
it's always like, oh, like
it'll be an energy
get it,
vampire. It'll destroy your mood. It's just I
consume
don't need
current event,
convincing
get
of
excited for
anything.
next current event. It's like it's just all kind of meaningless, really. It's all just
Right.
kind of like a game, It's just entertainment for people who, well, I guess
And
find that entertaining.
at a certain point, it's just demoralizing,
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like you're
definitely.
punishing yourself looking at the newest anti-white murder, you
Right.
know?
And
Yeah, I mean, like, I
And
think
get
it's
a sense of helplessness. Oh my gosh, I have no control over this, but I'm still getting
right.
angry over it. I have no outlet for this. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, with politics, you kind of entrap yourself, and you get sometimes, if you're not careful, you get toxic and bitter over time, just constantly being exposed to and feeding off of on
Absolutely.
current event, on to the next current event. With art, I mean, it's a break from all that. It- Um, it's a break from all that, and I just can't see it producing the same kind of just with art. You have control over it, a current event
Absolutely.
bigger than you, it's in the hands of people more powerful than you. But with art, with this amazing work that you guys create, it's like, wow, you have full control over it, and
that's a very good point. That's something I think a lot about is how it's like with these big like world events, it's like I have like just absolutely no control over it. And it's like I don't really under like I don't want to like invest so much mental energy into something I have no control over. But I do love that this is like us actually. It's like we can control this. Like y this can't be taken away from us, And
Right.
it's just it's like we're actually you know doing something, building something, and trying to uh, recharge people's souls, so to speak.
and
And
and unlike the current events thing, this is timeless. I mean, these will last longer than the next, headlines are a day-to-day thing, but this you can have in your possession for years.
And you
That's
forget
not your
about it like the
yeah.
next day. The
Yeah.
latest headlines. It's like a
Yeah.
week ago. It's like what even was the current thing, you know?
I think
Mhm.
Right.
adorning your home and your own body with things that are culturally meaningful is empowering, which
Yeah.
has, real life impact.
Absolutely. It's empowering and it's moralizing. And it's
Yes.
moralizing to work together to do that too, to give money to each other. It's like, yeah, I'm buying something from someone who doesn't hate me. I know that by buying this, I am helping somebody who is like me. I am helping someone who I care about helping. I'm not giving money to some awful corporation who wants to bring in infinity Haitians to work in their to work in their warehouse. I'm actually helping a
Or
real person, a regular person, and I'm getting something in return.
Mhm. And that's something you have like full control over. The decision's all yours. It's not in the hands of somebody
Exactly.
bigger and powerful. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, and I think that it's like I feel like if our the broader scene like would put in like way more energy into actually like building up this stuff that we have control over and actually building up like something real and tangible. It's like I don't know, we'd be in a much better place, I think, you know.
Well, I think a lot of people just want to go online and, you know, let off steam, really. They want to let off steam at the whole world. They want to let off steam at everybody that they have some kind of grudge against for whatever reason. And a lot of them are just very unserious. They just
Yeah.
want to bitch. Just want to bitch and moan. They just want to fuck with you. They just want to be upset. They want to upset
It's like
you.
they like having the problem, you know.
They do. They enjoy being angry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that sense where it's like here we have kind of like we're trying to build up like we're offering kind of a solution a little bit. Like
You
we're
are. Honestly, I think it is. It's a break from all that. I mean, to reiterate the
it's like
point.
what can we do in our situation? It's like we can try to build up our people, create a like a nation within a nation,
Right.
and that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Recognizing the score is far different than the constant cynicism, the pessimism, the hatred of everything. It isn't you. I mean, obviously, I like to think that our ideology is based out of a love and an admiration for our people, our culture, and our ancestry, our shared blood bond, rather than it is of a hatred of anybody else's blood bond. Now, of course, when their work intrudes upon our spaces and our ability to exist and to advocate for ourselves and to advance our culture and our people, then of course we have to take issue and defend ourselves from these hostile forces, these hostile groups. But ultimately, if these people have the right to self-determination, they have a right to exist elsewhere, and I believe the same thing goes for outside ideologies. So I think something that Jay had said with regards to the complaining, the constant complaining, online culture is complaining. In fact, the quote unquote movement, I don't use that term for many reasons, but it is complaining. It's complaining. It's hating on everything, hating everyone. It advances nothing. And I've said it before, but everyone, if complaining was a form of activism, there's not a grade of award high enough to bestow upon the average Telegram user. There isn't. There is no amount of oak leaves or brass fixings that would be befitting of such gallantry. But it's not a form of activism, and it's not in any way, shape, or form a form of activism. It is exactly that. It's time wasting, and in fact, this time could be spent on what everyone here has been talking about, which is creating the arts, cultivating something better, something bigger than yourself. Complaining online about
Something
things you can do
lasting.
nothing over, yes, is going to achieve absolutely nothing. And you yelling into the echo chamber may be good every once in a while if you need to let off steam. But I'll put it this way: there's a reason I don't really talk too much online. I have nothing to say.
A waste of energy too, not just time, but your
Certainly.
precious energy.
That's
could be-
that's what I think about a lot too. Is like it's like what am I really like putting? What am I expending my mental energy on? You know, it's like is this whatever particular thing it is? It's like is it worth it to like really put like expend mental energy on like? And I think like I try to just avoid like fighting with anybody online or putting out like anger and hatred online, you know. I don't know, like it's just bad for your soul. I think there's just too much like hate to be honest, like I think that consumes people's souls, and I think uh, you know.
As a registered hate group, I think I'm pretty offended by your. No, of course, I agree completely. It can't be. Your life can't be consumed by hatred. The minute your life is consumed by a hatred, and hatred in many ways is natural to some extent. But when your life becomes consumed by it, your life becomes negative, and you ultimately become a negative drowning force, not only on yourself but everyone around you, including your people. So even from a selfless perspective, if you care about your people, you care about your community, don't get bogged down by the darkness of everything in the world. You need to press forward and strive for something better, whether that be the arts, or if you really want to dedicate your heart and soul and mental strain into involving yourself in politics, then you can do that.
I totally agree with that. And also, hate is only actually potent when it's saved for the right occasion and funneled
Yes.
towards that right occasion. If it's spread out all over the place with every person you have a minor disagreement with, well, and it's not really meaningful at all.
Right.
It's a great point.
Completely agree.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it just gets overused. It just becomes meaningless. Yeah. John, I wanted to commend you because you are one of the few sort of political minded people that does actually appreciate the arts in our sphere. And there's yeah, not not that many, unfortunately, that can do both, you know. I'm sort of somebody that has a mind for both the political stuff and the artistic stuff, and I try to find the balance between the two, but that seems to be kind of a thread that most people can't really do for some reason.
Yeah, of
And I
course. A
think
lot of these people are cultureless. They're cultureless. They're not interested in advancing our culture because they don't understand our culture. And they are, frankly, a lot of them, when I say these people, I'm referring, of course, to a number of either bad actors or sort of a number of supposed movement types who don't really understand, I think, what it means to be a member of our people or their culture, or of course they are hypocrites where they promote one thing and then simultaneously act in egregious ways about other things, or again say get out there, go ahead and do this, and they simultaneously never go outside. There's a lot of examples of that, but as far as being a supporter of the arts, I yes, it's a pleasure to be a supporter of the arts community. I'm a supporter of a few sort of communities in our sphere that maybe aren't too commonly appreciated. There's a lot of wonderful women's circles out there that are doing a lot of great work. Of course, you've got the arts community and a few others that I think deserve a lot more attention than they're getting. But ultimately, I think I don't find a conflict in any way, shape, or form with my ideology. Both everything that I'm supporting here with the arts community is intrinsic with the values that I and the AFB hold. So I love what I see.
based. All right. So just gonna take a second here to kind of just reiterate that yes, I'm working on my next film, and I'm currently just trying to fundraise for it. I am currently at $1,200 of a $10,000 goal. So if you would like to donate to help fund my next project, you can leave an Odyssey super chat, or I have Cash App, or buy me coffee. So just wanted to take a second to put that out there. But I think we can move on to the film review now. I made this little doodle. I don't know, like it's just the tradition of the show to have a little terrible doodle.
I think that's terrible. I thought you. Where did you get one of my pieces from?
I would create.
Yeah. All right, Jay. Why don't you tell us why did you pick this very uncomfortable movie?
Because I've been meaning to rewatch it. I thought it was very interesting and symbolic and bizarre, and I wanted to rewatch it. And I thought, this is a good opportunity to have a reason to rewatch it and make other people suffer with me.
Man,
Diabolical.
I had like this really.
You are
like,
so lucky I didn't choose the greasy strangler. Y'all have no idea how lucky you are.
Yeah, I was
my
kind of
God.
surprised you didn't go for that one, but yes, I am grateful. You didn't pick that one. That would have been quite.
I'm not sure I really want to rewatch that one. It's levels of discomfort that are just off the charts.
I'm sorry. What's the name of it again?
The Greasy Strangler. You should watch it. Highly recommend it.
I'll have to consider that one. The name alone tells me some things about it that make me a little nervous, but I
you have no idea.
Oh God. Okay.
You should definitely get nervous about any movie Jay recommends.
Don't let kids walk in on that one.
The most disturbing movie I think I've seen, which is probably far below anybody that's really interested in that stuff, because I don't watch movies very often. As you can see, I didn't watch this one, but it would be Hereditary.
That's like one of my all-time favorite movies. It might be like my second or third favorite movie of all time.
I definitely enjoyed the movie. It made me very uncomfortable for a couple days, which I think is the sign of a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Felt that way about The Lovely Bones. I think even I don't know. Has anybody seen that one?
I did see that awful one, and I kind of hated that one.
I read that book when I was young. The book, very disturbing. I can only imagine the movie is.
Okay, who was asking about The Lovely Bones? Sorry, I didn't see who it was.
Me.
Anna.
Anna.
Okay, Anna. Okay, sorry. Yeah. What did you think about The Lovely Bones? Like, did you like it?
Well, I saw it when I was, for whatever reason, my mom allowed me to see it when I was 9 years old, and
oh no,
I know. So it was haunting, but I've always liked kind of true crime. Zoomer girl. Always loved any kind of true crime themed stuff. But that one depressed me.
It was very depressing, I like depressing movies, but that one was like too depressing.
Really was.
Yeah.
My
mom loved that book too. My mom is, she was very morbid like that. She liked stuff like that, and liked uncomfortable, disturbing true crime stuff. I mean, I like Forensic Files, but Forensic Files is a little dry.
Yes. Yep. That one I watched even younger. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have watched as much.
My mom used to let me watch that at all ages too. It's fine.
Yeah.
She'd be like, you know what happened to them? They got murdered. I'm like 8 years old. And
well, I think we're kind of understanding where Jay's movie tastes are coming from.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, all right. So, man, I hadn't seen this movie since I saw it in theaters, and I had a very, very uncomfortable experience watching in theaters because it was just me and like this, and she was like a row or two in front of me, and I was just like, oh my God, like this is so awkward. Like, is she like terrified of me right now? Does she think I'm gonna like do something?
You were the only two in the whole.
Yeah, it was just me and her. I didn't know her, but she was just there, and I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I had that traumatic memory unlocked rewatching this. Yeah. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the movie, Jay?
Well, overall, I think it is a criticism of the way our culture interacts with beauty and the way it exploits beauty and the way it on the insecurities that it preys on in women. And I also think that it can also be taken as a criticism of femininity and the way particularly white women interact with that.
So what sort of criticisms of so why don't you expand upon that? So it's a criticism of how society reacts to beauty.
Well, how our culture in general, I guess, exploits beauty. It's about a girl who is obviously a runaway. She's only 16 years old, and she's in LA, and she's trying to become a model. And it's the actress is Elle Fanning. She's a very beautiful young woman, and it's about how she goes to these modeling agencies and they're like, oh yeah, you can lie, say that you're 19, and it's just instantly towards exploiting that beauty. And she instantly starts getting like contracts and starts going to the runway and like having really weird encounters with photographers, making her pose nude and stuff like that. And she kind of, by the end of the movie herself, becomes something of a monster, becomes very self-aware of what she is. She's not even really personified that much in the film. She is kind of very much almost one-dimensional and kind of objectified in the film itself, as she is an object of beauty. She is an object of desire. She is something that men want and women want to be. She's not really much of a character in herself, I don't think.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, there was that progression of the character of that. It did feel kind of like very fast, where she goes from like innocent, deer in the headlights to like everybody wants to be me and I'm better than everybody, like real fast.
Right.
Um,
Right.
But that was kind of interesting, an interesting dynamic to it. Oh, so and then you were also saying that it's a criticism of, or like a critique of what was the second part you said, of femininity, or what was that?
Yeah, kind of like a criticism of the feminine role and how our society, or how our culture interacts with beauty and exploits beauty as well. Is that all the other female characters are completely bought into it? All of them want to be that object, and it drives them mad by the end.
Yeah. I think there is a certain degree of truth though to that statement, where it's like beauty isn't everything, it's the only thing. I think that really is just a driving force for all of humanity. Yeah. So Mariana, are you with us?
I am.
All right. Yeah, let's hear your thoughts on the movie.
Wow. Well, it was something else, and I really thought it was kind of a real statement about how society, and especially like Hollywood and stuff like that, will just cannibalize innocence and
I see what you did there.
innocence and youth and beauty and any little thing that could make a person special, um that's kind of how I took it. I mean, I think it was a really exaggerated, like, example of that, but it really sort of drove it home.
Yeah, I mean, like, so from what I understand, like a big inspiration for the movie was Elizabeth Bathory.
Mm.
So she was this I'm not exactly like a royal figure or high
Countess.
blood figure, whatever. I'm not exactly sure.
She was a countess.
Okay, right, from like the 1600s or whatever, right?
Very well-to-do countess, and she's accused of taking servant girls and torturing and murdering them,
And apparently eating them to get their beauty, essentially. Take their
She
beauty.
bathed in their blood. She was
I don't know
obsessed
if
with
she
their blood.
Yeah, I know that for. I don't know if she cannibalized them, but yeah, legend has it she would bathe in their blood, supposedly to help retain her youth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, exaggeration probably surrounding that. There's a whole backstory behind that I won't get into. That's the history major in me coming out. But yes, when I saw that scene, I'm like, I know exactly where that's from.
Yeah, so I think that was kind of the main sort of inspiration for the movie. I think it was just kind of a horror story, kind of inspired by that. But yeah, so did you have any other thoughts on it, Mariana?
I thought it was visually really interesting. There's a lot of symbology in there to think about and get into.
So
And
symbology, like you guys keep saying symbology. I'm not like I don't know. I didn't pick up on it, but I'm not very smart either. So I'd like to kind of hear what you guys, because you guys have both mentioned symbology.
Ooh, I've got a lot.
Okay. Because I know like
towards the beginning of the film, when a mountain lion gets into her room and destroys her whole room. That's very interesting symbolic foreshadowing. What does a lioness represent but danger, power, beauty, and it's feminine. And it's destroying her.
Oh, okay. You that's interesting. Did you pick up on that too, Mariana?
yeah, that's how I took it, as very symbolic foreshadowing.
Okay, I just thought it was a weird little scene.
Just like as a mom, my daughter is 2 years older than this character, right? And so she's out there all alone, and literally everywhere she turns, everyone's looking to be a predator,
Right.
and really the only person that had her back was her boyfriend,
and she turned her back on him.
Right. And then, he was pretty much the only thing standing between these predators and her. So, yeah.
Even the women that the woman who sets herself up to be, the trustworthy, almost mother-like figure,
the worst
ends
of them
up
all.
being the worst predator of them all. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jenna Malone's character.
Yes.
So she was supposed to be a model, one of the models. Is that right?
No, she's the makeup artist.
Oh, okay. I was like, I kept thinking like, she does not look like a model. Like, why is she? Okay, that makes more sense. She was just the makeup artist.
Yeah, and then there's also on her runway scene.
Jealous, I wonder.
Well, she wasn't jealous. She wanted her.
Oh, okay.
A little lesbian thing.
Right,
yeah,
I gotcha.
It's, right. She wanted to own her, But then there's also the runway scene where when she's walking down the runway and she's looking out, and all she sees is the inverted triangle composed of 3 other inverted triangles and a right side up triangle in the center, and that itself is foreshadowing as well, because she's coming out of a right side up triangle coming onto the runway. She is at the center of that, and then an inverted triangle represents a womb or women, and a right side up triangle traditionally represents men and masculinity, and she's at the heart of that, and she's surrounded by 3 wombs, 3 other women who are going to essentially, kill her. But, that's what she's surrounded by. And this symbol of beauty, this object of beauty, is lying at the heart of man.
Yeah, I was very confused about like that scene also. So I'm like, okay, what's with the triangles? But yeah, okay,
I had to watch it a second time to get it, and I was like, I see that.
So you just got that by yourself? You didn't read about that?
No, I just pulled that out of my ass.
Oh my god, I'm like a retard or something. I never pick up on this type of stuff. Unless
I had to watch it a second time to pick up on it. So
if I ever sound like smart, like while talking about a movie, it's because I read it somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah, alrighty. Mr. Fassbinder, do you have any thoughts on the movie you didn't watch?
Well, there are a few people besides the director and perhaps the writer who know this movie as well as I do. And so I think I have a lot to offer. And I mean, some of the
Your 20 minutes of research
Oh
puts you
my
on par with
goodness,
them.
so funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, and obviously there was a lot of symbolic messages that were picked out, and those were okay. But I think my view on it is going to be much more profound and esoteric. So with that said, I'm going to say in reality absolutely nothing different than what everyone else has said. Which is that I believe, well, I'll tell you what I thought from reading about it, which was that it was a perversion it's about the perversion of beauty standards, right? And I don't know how this how political can I get on this? Do you have a preference for what I do or don't talk about?
Well, just don't say anything that's gonna get me banned, essentially.
Okay,
You
all
can
right,
say
all right.
whatever you want, just don't necessarily
Okay, I won't.
start
I
screaming
won't.
slurs.
No. Oh, no. But well, I'll put it this way. There's a clique of people that overwhelm our society and the societies of most of Western civilization, and I believe that the perverse beauty standards that we see today that are represented in this movie are brought on by this hostile occupation, this contortion of our culture in such an unnatural way. I mean, the beauty standards that are presented now are really inherently unnatural to the extent that most people, 99% of people, 99% of women, don't look like how the beauty standards are set up to be. It's the ideal person, and there's nothing wrong with ideals, but at one point, the ideal man or woman was presented as being healthy, good bone structure, fair skin, etc. Whereas now it's sort of contorted, strange body types, strange shapes.
Small
Just
boobs, apparently. That's like a thing in the fashion industry. She's talking like one of the models talks about how she gets like a breast like reduction. I'm just like, that is so strange. Like why? Like that seems like
Oh,
the opposite of logic to me.
because in that world, basically what you are is a clothes hanger.
mm,
So, the thinner and more shapeless you are, the better for that particular world.
Yeah. I feel like there's also kind of like almost a pedophilic aspect to it as well.
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
agree.
going to
I
say.
agree. Where you look super young and kind of androgynous and iffy,
Youth worship.
Yeah.
Well, also, a lot of the people behind the fashion industry are not heterosexual.
Right.
Yes.
They even talk about that like in the movie as well. The main guy like running the thing was a homosexual. I don't know. Very
And
strange.
no matter how, like right now in our world, it's a very fake ideal out there, a lot of like plastic surgery and weird shit going on. And in the movie, you notice how her just being naturally beautiful, that was really impactful. That got everybody's attention. And, even the one gal who had sunk so much money into trying to be perfect, paled in comparison to this real actual person, and that never goes away. And no matter how, hard people push for all these weird new standards, natural beauty is always going to be, just like awe-inspiring.
Nothing is more beautiful than nature.
Yes.
And any contortions of nature, any false sort of again perverted mimicking of nature, which we see very frequently now, is it's like almost a caricature of nature. It's
Yes.
going to, or a parody of nature. It's going to be unhealthy. It's going to be gross. It's going to be very uncanny. And I think that especially now, we live in a society and in a world that is so fake and plastic, and therefore, of course, it's gotten to the extent that people bodies are becoming plastic. The promotion of plastic and everything, including your own physical form.
Well, there's also a really weird kind of mentality now where a lot of people seem to think that like your body parts are kind of like Legos. Like you can just kind of like take them off and swap them out and change
around.
them up at will. Yeah, and we can kind of blame a lot of popular culture, like the who are those really gross? Who's that really gross family that's really famous? The Jenners, not
Kardashians.
the Kardashians and the Jenners, yes, and they do that. They do that, and they promote this plastic surgery, filler, and like Botox world that a lot of people are getting involved in now, and it's just making everyone look exactly the same, just puffy
And weird.
lipped
And really
weird.
freaking weird.
And really weird. It's making everyone look the same and weird at the same time. It's like, I mean, I don't like fillers. It's like, look, I understand a little Botox. Okay. I'm just going to say, like, I get it. I'm seeing someone like my forehead wrinkles. I'm like, maybe if I could afford it, I get it. Botox is one thing, but like, once you start getting to the fillers and the puffy lips and like changing your facial structure, that's just weird.
Mm-hmm. It just doesn't, even the best of the best out there, it just freaks me out. I don't know. Personally,
yeah, I feel like
really
you can
freaky.
tell far more often than you can't. Like I've seen
Mhm.
people where you can't tell, but I feel like they're kind of more rare than the people you can.
Right. Well, that would require making tasteful choices, which we know are few and far between anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Ain't that the truth?
So, Anna, do you have any thoughts on this movie you didn't watch?
It's funny. Just a few weeks ago, I finished this. Actually, it was a book I got from Barnes and Noble at the Mall of America in Minneapolis. Marilyn Monroe, A Photographic Life.
I was there with you
Yes.
when you got that.
I finished reading that book, and then when I was researching that movie, and I saw who the main character was and looked like, I thought, there's a lot of similarities here, because she also had that was the main theme I was really taken away from the movie, was she was the it girl. She just had something the rest of the models didn't. You couldn't put your finger on it. Yes, there was natural beauty, but there was something else to it that really just made her the envy of the world. But of course, that just opened up to her being exploited down the road and being changed and abused over time. So I thought, well, there are a lot of parallels to draw between the model I was reading about, Marilyn Monroe, and then this movie. And I thought, wow, it's one of those movies where I was like, man, it's so exaggerated and fictionalized, but really not at the same time. There's so many parallels that everybody here just threw off how fake.
It reminds me of a line in the movie, what you're saying, where Jenna Malone's character, she's talking to the two other models who are, very jealous of this girl. And she's like, she says, this girl's going to be big. She's going to be great. She's got that thing. She's not just beautiful. She's got that thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I took that to mean innocence.
Yes.
What did you think so?
I really did. And reading real life models like the one I just read, and then watching this movie, it was exactly that. I mean, almost just stage for stage. Wow, you get to see the descent of somebody who has it and is blown up into this big star, but man, at a price.
So I think since this movie has come out, like I think how the industry kind of works has changed to a certain degree, where they're not really pushing beautiful women anymore.
I think that changed before this movie came out, actually. Now we're getting the opposite reaction, which is now they just want everyone to be fucking ugly.
Right. So, that's kind of it's almost like that movie was a little outdated.
It is a little outdated.
I think there was, in like a more natural world, like it did have truth to it, but what is going on now, like where it's like, the beauty is not like what gets you anywhere somewhere anymore. It's kind of, I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on how things have changed? Like it
also, well, put it this way, in the world of modeling, there would certainly be a lot less white women.
What was that?
Yeah.
And world, there's going to be an absolute de-emphasis of white women, elevating women of color, elevating
Well, that's what they're doing now, right?
Well, I think this movie was actually partially a criticism of white women in the industry and white women and white beauty and everything like that, and the way that we as a people interact with beauty. Because if you didn't notice, like the characters are all blondes, and in the closing scene, the wall behind the woman who is vomiting,
swastikas.
it's got a bunch of swastikas, blue swastikas, the same blue that matches the eye that she vomits.
I didn't notice that. Good eye.
And if you noticed, also the woman who couldn't consume her was the one who had plastic surgery.
Interesting.
Yes. Right, and it was the girl who did not have plastic surgery who once she consumed her, she became her.
Very good point.
Which is, very weird, but I do think that there is some kind of anti-white undertones to it. It feels like they're criticizing a modeling culture that was much whiter.
Because they wouldn't they wouldn't do that like with non-white actors, right? Like
no, probably not.
Yeah, and there were some non-white models like you saw briefly on the stage or whatever.
The focus,
right?
Jessie is,
and the one
she's most desired beauty. She's like almost the unattainable real beauty, because how many you take the entire world population, how many natural blondes out there? I mean,
me.
Women that are like Jessie.
Well, she wasn't natural blonde though. What, like she had the brown, like I guess I'm not an expert, but she had like brown eyebrows, right? So that's sort of like an indication she's not a natural blonde, right?
Well, blondes come in all different types of blondes. I mean, my eyebrows have always been darker than my hair.
Right. Okay.
But
But you are a natural blonde?
Yep.
Oh. Nice. Yeah, so that is kind of an interesting thing that you're getting at, that it's like a critique of whites kind of thinking they're the top beauty standards of the world.
That's such a good point. It never even occurred to me, because I just watched this movie like with my mom brain, you know what I mean, just like constantly worried about the young lady. But now that you've said that, I totally see it. Everything's clicking, and I think you're totally right about that.
I think it's also a criticism of the way white women interact with each other and the way we cannibalize each other for beauty. Well, so it says in the movie. I actually don't think that that's really as much of a problem as this movie would emphasize, but I'm also not part of the modeling world, so I don't have firsthand experience.
Right. I mean, like, I think it was kind of over the top, on purpose. It's like, it's like, he just kind of wanted to do what he does. Like the director wanted to do what he does with his male leading movies, but he just wanted to do that with women, He just kind of wanted to flip it on its head a little bit. Yeah, so and also there was so what do you guys think about Keanu Reeves in this movie?
He sucks.
Yeah, like, so what do you think about his performance though? Like
it was so random. It was so really random.
Because I kind of feel like
this random.
This might be like his best performance he's ever done.
I mean, I never thought he'd be the rapey landlord, But
I was just surprised to see him on the cast list.
It's a very surprising choice, but I don't know. Like, does it work? Like, is he good? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Did he? Because Keanu Reeves, he's obviously not like the world's best actor, but I don't know. Like, I felt like he was actually pretty decent actor in this movie. What did you guys think?
Well, I mean, I guess
hated him. He did a good job.
Yeah, I hated him. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely like a terrible person. And once again, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. All right. Did you guys, Jay? Did you find any more symbology in the movie that you wanted to
I'm
talk
trying to think. Like at the end where you have Jenna Malone. She lies down in the moonlight and bleeds.
Yeah, whoa, what was going on there? Like, was that like an actual scene, or was that like a
That was an actual scene.
like a
Yeah.
fantasy, or like a
Just something
like a
symbolic.
dream sequence or whatever?
Well, it's obviously it's like heavy feminine symbolism. You've got the full moon and she's lying
Yeah.
beneath it and she's bleeding at what appears to be, it's after she's bathed in the girl's blood, and it kind of suggests that she's bleeding out the blood that she bathed in.
Well, it's also like really
menstrually.
watery. It was like really
Yeah.
watery, like when your water breaks.
Yeah, and it kind of had like it kind of looked like ocean ripples.
Yeah.
Also very feminine in symbolism, almost
Mhm.
like she's losing, like she's lost it or something.
Like she's lost her femininity because of this?
Yeah,
or-
like she's losing it, or I'm not sure exactly. It's very, but it's heavily symbolic, and I'm not sure exactly what they're getting at with that. I'd have to think about that more.
Yeah. So this script was written by two women and also the director. So it does, there is, I guess, a lot of that female, what is the word I'm looking for? Perspective in it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Donald Kent says hi. Yo, great to see Jay, John, and Witch Mother on here.
Hello.
Hey, Don.
Yeah.
Hey there, Donald. Great to see you here, my friend.
All right. What else? So, any other thoughts you guys have on it?
All I gotta say is that corpse scene really freaked me out.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
did you? Okay,
the
so you did
corpse
watch.
scene.
You watched that scene?
Unfortunately.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, you chose the most uncomfortable scene to watch. Great job.
Okay, what scenes did you watch? Because you said you watched some on YouTube, right?
Yeah, there was the girls bathing in the blood, there was the hotel scene, there was the introduction, there was that corpse scene. After that I was like, okay, maybe one more scene, because my gosh, that
Casual necrophilia.
Yeah, it could have been that really did not have to be added to the film, but I think they probably just laughed and were like, let's really make them uncomfortable.
Well, from what I understand, Jenna Malone was just told to like kiss the corpse, but then like she decided to like go like way more with the
Oh
scene.
my goodness.
And they decided to keep it in.
The only scene I watched was the one where the nice young woman got an upset stomach and there was an eyeball. It's the only one I managed to see.
Did you see that one, Anna?
Yep.
And for the record, the first thing I noticed about that scene was like, it looks like there's almost swastikas on the wall, but I wasn't sure if that was.
I have to go back and look, but that actress that kind of becomes the it girl after she consumes her, I need to go back and see if her eyes were always blue throughout the whole movie, or if they are just blue after she consumes her.
Oh,
Yeah,
if it was
interesting.
the latter, then yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I can't remember because I was like, wow, her eyes are really blue. Have her eye, like towards the closing scenes, I'm like, wow, her eyes are really blue. Have her eyes been blue this whole movie? And I'm not sure. I feel like maybe not.
Huh. Wonder.
Oh yeah, there's also the foreshadowing of where she, cuts her hand with that girl in the room, and that girl like tries to like suck her blood out of her hand cut.
Good God, yeah. That was which one was that? The plastic surgery one or the other one?
The other one.
Okay.
Sarah. The character's name is Sarah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm sure the audience is just like, what is wrong with Jay? This is the movie she picked. This is what she's like I said earlier, you guys should just be grateful that this is the one that I picked, not the other one. The Greasy Strangler.
One day we'll probably do Greasy Strangler as a watch party because I feel like we have to. That's a movie that we have to watch together. I feel.
Yeah. We all have to suffer together for that one. Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. I'm not gonna do a movie review of the Greasy Strangler here. It's like it's also very funny in how grotesque it is though too. It's terrible.
Yeah, I saw the Red Letter Media review of it. I was like, oh boy, goodness great. Of course. What other like weird fucked up movies do you like?
Oh god, I don't know. I like all kinds of weird fucked up movies.
Like, what are some of your all time favorites?
Man, you're like putting me on the spot. I don't know. I'm tired. I haven't had enough wine to be put on the spot like this. I do like I did like The Northman. That was a good one. That's a little weird and fucked up.
Yeah, quite.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure what.
I just remember.
We should make the audience ask us questions.
Yeah, any audience questions? Anybody have any questions out there? Feel free to ask. What were you gonna say, Anna?
I just remembered in one of the I guess movie scenes that I was watching on YouTube, the top comment was like something along the lines of "Don't watch this movie on acid. You can't unsee this." So I think summary of the movie.
Yeah, with all the neon lights and whatnot. Yeah,
Yep.
that would begin Vietnam flashbacks for years after that. Yeah, I do think Donald asks, what is it about weird, disturbing movies that compels us to watch them?
Like bad train crashes, I guess. Can't look away.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really weird, obscure movies do appeal to me as someone who doesn't often watch movies, TV, stuff like that. So when it's intellectually interesting and strange, I do tend to want to watch it.
Yeah, is this a movie that you could have seen yourself watching and enjoying? Like, well, I don't know if you enjoyed it, but like
Watching, sure, yeah, watching, yes, on my, but I can't say it's a movie I enjoy.
Yeah.
I guess because movies like that you just know are meant to be more of an expression of art, I guess you could say, a very
Yeah.
artistic kind of movie.
Mhm.
And that's like the weird what the F did I just watch movie category is full of that. I think another example that comes to mind is Mother exclamation point with Jennifer.
Now that was a very interesting movie. I
That's a
actually like
disturbing movie.
I like that
yes.
movie quite a bit, and that one is like all symbology, and that makes it very I thought it was a
Yeah.
very interesting experiment of a film.
Her
I actually felt that movie could be taken as nationalistic in messaging, but
yes,
that was just me.
because it was very intrinsically tied to I think it was supposed to be taken from like biblical stories as well as kind of like an environmental message.
Right, it's like
Mhm.
Mother, like being like it's like she's both Mother Earth and then also like Mother Mary at the same time.
Yes.
At a certain point, yeah.
And her sons
Right.
being sacrificed before her. Yeah. Well, if anybody's seen the movie, you know that scene.
Oh God, I don't. I watched that movie before I became a mother. I don't think I could watch it now necessarily. I think that might be a bit much for me.
Yeah, I showed my cousin that, and she was so mad at me.
That's another very weird, disturbing film.
Yeah, I really like that directed though. Well, I like The Fountain. Have you guys seen that movie?
No, but I know who that director, Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah,
right?
Darren Aronofsky. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I kind of think this movie is like I don't know. I kind of like this movie better than Drive. What do you guys think? Because it's the same
Absolutely.
director.
Drive put me to sleep. I
It
never
is
finished
kind
it.
of it's kind of a boring movie.
Yeah, I never actually got all the way through it. I guess I just wouldn't get it. I wasn't into it. I should try to watch it
This
again and actually get through it, but
This might be like one of his most engaging movies and visually interesting movies that the director has made.
he also did that other movie with Ryan Gosling that's based in like Thailand or something.
Yeah, Only God Forgives. That's another
Only
movie
God Forgives.
I've
Yeah,
tried
we watched that
watching.
recently.
Oh, you did? Did you finish it?
We did finish
Because
that movie, and that's another weird, disturbing film.
I've tried
Not
to
as
watch it
disturbing as
several
Beyond Demon.
times and I just fall asleep every time. I can't.
Yeah, I can see that. It's kind of slow burn, I guess, but that's also a
It's
very
a
strange.
little too slow of a burn. And what's happened? Like, doesn't he get his hands cut off at the end or something? That's what
Yes.
I heard. Like, was there a point to that? Like,
Or well, it's kind of like the guy who does it. I think I'm trying to remember if he gets his hands cut off or if he gets killed or if it's both. But the guy who does it is like this weird, like little kind of he's this little like Asian guy who's kind of also like this being of justice who goes and like like cuts off the hands of like thieves and other evildoers in his country, which is weird.
and so okay, and so Ryan Gosling got his just desserts at the end. Is that what happens? I don't really hardly remember anything about the movie.
It is, but it isn't. His just desserts. It kind of it's all kind of gray in a matter of perspective because like on one hand he feels really guilty for something that he's done. I don't want to ruin the movie entirely for people, but on one hand he's guilty of a pretty terrible crime, but on the other hand it's not entirely his fault that he committed it. He did it at the behest of someone else, someone that he trusts and loves.
So did you like that one better than Drive?
Well, I finished that one.
I like some elements of the movie Drive, but yeah, it is a bit of a snooze fest. It's kind of his most like boring movie that he's done. He's made out of all of his movies, to be honest, but it seems to be his most popular one for some reason. Yeah. All right. Do you guys have any more thoughts on the movie then?
Don't watch it with children.
No, that's right. You watched it with your 14-year-old for a little bit.
Oh my god, you kicked her out though, right?
Yeah, she's been coming to me, Mom, that was the most disturbing movie I've ever seen.
How far did she get?
Pretty far.
Pretty far. Oh no.
She didn't get to the corpse scene, right?
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, poor daughter.
Yeah, I mean she watches a lot of horror movies with her dad, and I just didn't know what was coming. I just couldn't have known. I just couldn't have known.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I will put it. Do not let her watch The Greasy Strangler.
I will not. I promise.
I'm putting a warning label on that one. Not that one.
Oh my goodness. She's a teenager, if that makes this any better. But
No,
it doesn't.
I mean, it does. It's not like she's like a little kid,
Yeah.
I mean, I saw horrible shit on the internet when I was a teenager, and I didn't turn out fine, but maybe she was.
Really reassuring her there.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. For the most part.
You mentioned that her she watches a lot of horror movies with her father, and reminds me, I think the reason I turned out the way that I did is because my father my mother always had me watch, the sort of traditional stuff, which we were behind the times. I was born in 2000. I know. I just came out of the womb the other day. I recognize, but I remember that we were kind of behind the times. So a lot of the things that I watched or used were older, from the 90s, VCRs and video
Older
cassettes.
from the 90s.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
well, older than the year it was is what I mean. Which was 2000, probably 5 or 2006, or probably earlier. But anyhow, a lot of it was Land Before Time or Raffi. That's what she would have me watch. And then when she would leave, and it was my father, he had the boomer instinct that he knew a screen needed to be on in order to occupy my attention. But he didn't really go so far as deciding what to put on it. So he would just turn it on and say, all right, watch that. And usually it was, I don't know, an 8-hour Civil War documentary or whatever, just filling my head with useless information, which that I'll never use again. And that's probably the reason I'm the way that I am today. I would describe myself as, if I had to be a color, it'd probably be beige, in the sense that pretty informational. I read nonfiction, if I read it all, when I was in school. And so I don't know. As far as my film, I guess my favorite film, I believe, of all time is Der Untergang, which is become a meme, I
What is
believe,
it?
on YouTube. Der Untergang. It's
Delta?
Der Untergang, the downfall. I believe it's just called Downfall in English. Some of you may have seen it. There's a clip from it that became somewhat of an internet meme, where it's Hitler in a bunker,
Right.
lashing out, and they change the subtitles to whatever they choose to change the subtitles to. Usually something silly or nonsensical. But the actual movie is a very good movie, a very historical piece that I think is excellent. And I would recommend it if anybody's interested in or has seen it, to go ahead and do so.
That's your favorite movie?
Yes, believe it or not, of all the wonderful films in the world, and all of the sort of deep, esoteric, really thought-provoking films, I picked one that was very kind of, you look at it and you can understand what's happening, and that's pretty much it. The symbolism of the movie is that it's very sad. That's pretty much the extent of it. I mean, as far as other movies, as I've mentioned, I have seen. I'm a big horror movie fan. I'm kind of a fan, despite the sort of preppy Connecticut aesthetic that I put off. I'm very edgy in my interests, in terms of, I like horror movies, I like abandoned places, all of that stuff. So really anything horror related or cemeteries is going to have my interest. So if anybody has any horror recommendations, please let me know.
And you said Hereditary was your favorite horror movie? Was that what you said?
Well, now that you mention it, probably is. I was more just the one that I would consider to be the most disturbing that I've seen, because I haven't gone down the rabbit hole of disturbing horror movies. I know there's a lot of them, and I've heard of a lot of them, but I haven't watched them for a number of reasons. I don't really have. I don't dedicate too much time to watch movies anymore, but which I should probably dedicate more, because some films can be great, but. Yeah, I would say Hereditary is probably up there. As far as the other ones, I mean, you're talking very generic, very popular ones that came out a while ago, like The Conjuring. I really enjoyed, particularly sort of supernatural, demonic sort of horror movies generally freak me out more than others. So those are the ones I'm interested in.
Have you seen Poltergeist?
Yes, I have.
That was my favorite when I was younger, as far as horror movies go.
Oh, absolutely, and very good choice indeed, because it's a classic, and it's very. I mean, it's excellent. I've seen The Shining. In fact, as much as I hate to be expose myself on this, because it would be cooler to say, "Oh, I just felt a connection to this fellow right away." But Al Boley, who is an inspiration for the sort of music that I sang, and one of my favorite artists, the reason I discovered him is because he did a song. He did the song at the end of The Shining, "Midnight, the Stars, and You."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, when you zoom in on the
So
photograph.
that's a big that guy is a big inspiration for your music, you're saying?
Very much so, and I don't claim to hold a candle to what he's done, but he's definitely inspires me in the sense that his music is very. I mean, it's very old, right? Yeah, he was a big deal all the way back in the 30s. He was a big deal in the 40s. He died in the Blitz, and that was the end of his career. But prior to that, he did a lot of great work, and he's kind of exemplary to the not crooning in the Frank Sinatra sense, but the sort of more higher pitched, I suppose, crooning that came before him. I feel like crooning sort of took a more baritone uh, uh, change in the 40s with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and so on. But prior to that, it was kind of more of a higher pitch.
And you like the higher pitch kind of singing?
General to listen to, yes. I can't do it, but I do to listen to it, yes.
You know, I find that like I when it comes to male singers, I kind of like the higher pitched ones, and then when it comes to female singers, I like the lower pitched ones, like Lana Del Rey or whatever.
No, you know what? I can respect that, and I have to honestly say I can agree with you to a large extent. I mean, there's quite a few artists that I think are wonderful. I actually think, and I have no idea what his politics are, but hopefully they're at least not really bad, or he has no takes that embarrass me later to say this. But Michael Bublé, I've enjoyed his sort of revitalization of that style, that era of music. Much more old school, slower. I really like that. As far as, and I hate to say this, but because I'm going to sound like a 97-year-old man, which is pretty accurate to who I am on the inside. It's sort of silent gen, but the noise music, noise for the sake of noise, I feel like is what a lot of popular music has turned into. I found that the majority of the most popular music being played now is crap. I don't think it's very good at all. But a lot of the more obscure stuff is really good. Indie artists, etc. A lot of people.
Right. You know, I agree with that. Like, I think people always say that there's no good music being made, but I think there is a lot of good music being made now. It's just you can't find it on the radio. You just got to kind of search a little lower. It's like I read an interesting statistic the other day that like a, apparently every day there is 120,000 songs released,
that
which is
wouldn't
kind of
surprise
insane every
me.
day.
Yeah, that's that. And of course, too, a lot of things have been done by this point in history. I know that sounds like a cop out for a lot, and a lot of it is because, of course, the radio is occupied by people that hate us, and they're going to promote negative music that is a negative influence to us, our children, our culture as a whole. But another element to it that I will say in the defense of some more popular artists is that there's a 99% chance whatever they've come up with, someone has done it before and probably done it better. So there's something to be said about that when it comes to creativity at this stage of the game.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jay, you're saying you got to go now?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and get out of here. I gotta go to bed soon. I've got a busy day of toddler wrangling ahead of me tomorrow.
Oh, fun, fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any like closing thoughts, or you want to like, yeah, give your closing thoughts on the movie, and then like what you're doing for the audience, what you got coming
Oh
up?
God. Oh Lord. As far as the movie goes, I think we've said just about everything that needs to be said about it at this point. If you want to be uncomfortable and you like that kind of thing, definitely go ahead and watch it. If you like heavy symbolism and discomfort, it's the movie for you. As far as like what John was talking about, like, yeah, popular music right now is trash. It's extremely formulaic, and I think that's why AI is able to mimic it so well. But as far as what I'm doing, I'm taking a break from commissions soon. I'm wrapping up a few commissions right now, and I'm going to be taking a break and releasing some of my own stuff. I also hope to have a website up soon. So yeah, exciting stuff.
What kind of stuff are you working on just for yourself? Like,
I want to do some more Celtic stuff. And
is it
I
gonna be more
don't
of
know
those
what
like
else I want.
scones, like the scone things? Is that
Sconces, yes, I am. I'm planning on. I would really like to start doing a line of altar sconces that are deity specific. Because a problem I have, and I know a lot of other people have, is a lack of space to have altars. And so I figure what might be easy is to have something wall mounted.
okay?
Such a good idea. I can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you. I'm excited about it. So I want to start doing some of those, restocking on some of my inventory, getting ready to have a website, and yeah.
And this website, like, is are you gonna be like, what's gonna be on the website?
Well, it's going to be a shop. It's going to be a shop and a portfolio.
Gotcha. So, you'll just have like stuff up that you made that people can buy and whatnot.
Yeah. It'll be a store where people can go on and, add something to their cart and go ahead and purchase it. I'm going to also have a portfolio so that if someone wants to contact me about a commission, they have work that I've done before to reference.
Will you be also like have it open for other people to sell stuff on it, or will it just be your stuff?
It's just me for now.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Jay.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a good talk. It's been a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, nice
Agree.
talking with everybody.
Definitely.
A pleasure to be here, Jay. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Have fun with your toddler wrangling.
Good luck.
Oh, thank you. Y'all have a good night, okay? Thanks for having me.
Good
Thank you.
night. Take care.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. So, which mother, or do you want to give like your sort of final thoughts on the movie as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a pretty powerful statement. A little bit, much for me with the corpse, but hey, it's a movie I'll never forget.
It really lingers, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, the eyeball scene, like, yeah, I hadn't seen it since it first came out, but that like still haunted me to this day.
The eyeball was nothing for me in comparison to the other one.
Well, if you guys want to be disturbed for life, then definitely check out this
Yes.
movie. All right. Anna and John, do you guys have any closing thoughts also?
Well, just that the movie was just disturbing on a lot of levels, but that's usually where the biggest critique about society comes in. So, when you look at underneath all that and past all that, you'll find, okay, now the message is really clear and powerful and often more not kind of parallels with our society, or it's a direct
Yeah.
critique to our society as a whole. So
I do
that's
feel like
my
there was a lot of truth in the movie.
100%.
Yes.
Yep. 100%. Once you realize that, I was like, okay, well, they used a lot of weirdness to kind of convey that, but I get it. But yes, an unforgettable movie, like the Witch Mother said. Totally. Won't be forgetting that one for a while. Even reading up on it, I'm like, oh, wow. Certainly won't be forgetting this title. But yeah, I'll have to head out soon. But it was a great review. Really appreciate you inviting me on. It was great discussing with y'all as well.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much for joining.
of course.
Good talking with you, Anna.
You too.
Are you heading out now?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
gotta
Do you want to also shout out like whatever you're working on, if you're working on anything, or
Yeah. Guys, keep checking out the Justice Report. I'm a regular contributor over there. So
right?
Phenomenal.
Oh, what'd you say, John?
I just want to say phenomenal work that you're doing over there. Please keep it up.
oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Got an excellent crew there.
Yes. All right. Well, you have a good night, Anna.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
John, do you want to talk about anything you got going on then? Also.
Well, sure. I'll start with my final thoughts on the film, which would be, I'm never, it shook me to my core so much. I mean, I'm never going to be able to go on Wikipedia ever again. It's going to always remind me of what I read tonight. And I mean, those were some of the most scary 7 minutes and 20 seconds of my life, and I'll never forget them. But no, in reality, I mean, I think, when I was reading what it was about, I was actually sitting there. I was visiting with my father, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to be appearing on a program tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this. I don't have time to watch it. It looks like." But I was reading it out loud, because
To your
it started
father?
off, yeah, relatively
Oh, boy.
normal. It started off, and then as we started going a little bit further down, I laughed and I went, okay. I said, I understand why they're reviewing this now. And he said, well, why is that? He said, it sounds insane. And I said, well, it is. But I said, you get the undertones of what's going on here. He's not a particularly sophisticated individual in terms of his ability to look beneath the surface. So I wasn't expecting him to be like, oh, it's the message is clearly. I mean, he's not going to get it. So I just kind of gave him the surface level, and I was like, well, clearly a show of how our society is, and disgusting, perverted standards of what has become of beauty, and what it means to be beautiful now in comparison what it actually means to be beautiful by nature's standard, which is ultimately what we must adhere to as nature's standards with regards to everything, and that applies to beauty as well. Not some man-made, perverted, also non-heritage, non-European model of beauty, which is false. And he just said, okay, and that was pretty much his contribution to it, which didn't surprise me too much. I mean, maybe that okay meant more, and I just wasn't reading enough into it. Maybe he's a level above me, but anyhow, yeah. I mean, and as far as projects that I'm working on, I could talk about the AFP, but who cares about those guys? No, I'm just kidding. They
Fuck them.
yeah,
No,
no, we don't. We whatever. Those a bunch of squares over there at the AFP. No, we're working on a lot of great things. We've got a lot of good announcements coming forward. In fact, just right before this program was initiated, we made an announcement denouncing Mark Dice's statements
Yeah, I
regarding.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things with regards to that we're doing, and some other big events I can't talk about just yet, but we will.
Are you
and
going to be
also,
putting on like IRL events? Is that like a plan?
oh yes, absolutely. We
Have you
used
done
to
that before?
Oh yeah, yes. We've held multiple conferences before my involvement in the party, quite a while ago, because the party was founded in 2010, formally incorporated in 2010, and since especially at the beginning, we really went in. We had our first inaugural event. We had a few more after that. Things kind of died down. We lost steam for years. Then myself and a couple of younger folks came in and kind of brought things back up into this century, I would say. As far as our aesthetic used to be pretty bad.
Bringing that Zoomer energy.
Exactly, and so when it comes to IRL events, I mean, what we're trying to cultivate here at the AFP is beyond. I believe it is important to do this. Is beyond just politics. We're trying to offer people something, regardless of where you sit, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're public facing, or whether you'd like to remain behind the scenes, whether you're old or young, whether you have a family or you don't. We like to offer something for everyone. And there is always something, the ultimate message behind this is there's always something that you can be doing to advocate for your people, for your country, for your heritage, for your culture. And that also implies, of course, to the arts. And I think that we've got a lot of fine folks. There's also a lot of fine folks that aren't in the AFB. And we're happy to work with anyone that is, of course, a serious, dedicated individual that is good faith. And I'm very, very pleased to say that it seems to be that all of those who are interested in our party, all of those who are interested in participating, supporting, joining, donating, whatever the case may be, are people that I would be proud to point to and say, this is a person I'm trying to represent. This is a person that is befitting of a society that we in the AFP would like to cultivate for the heritage American nation. So that's essentially what we've got going on. It's all a lot of it's kind of boring behind the scenes administrative stuff, but we're making strides constantly, and I'm very, very proud of everyone, but our supporters and our work staff, our workforce staff, and our action force members making it all possible.
Yeah, so I've known of the AFP for a while, and I followed them, but I don't know that much about them, to be honest. And I'd love to have you on as the special guest on a future episode where I can kind of do an interview with you and kind of get to know a bit more of what's going on there.
But he has to
in the
actually
future.
watch a movie.
Yeah, well, he will pick the movie. That's the idea, so
I think I can manage that. I have seen films before in my life, so I think I can go ahead and pick one that I've seen before, or possibly this gives me an incentive to watch a new one.
It would be funny
But-
if you picked a movie you hadn't seen.
Unfortunately, I get a time to watch it before I recommended it. But I'm sure from what I read on the Wikipedia, it's pretty good. So it looked good. I saw a guy review it on TikTok, so I'm assuming it's got to be great. No, but first of all, I'll tell you what. I'd be absolutely honored. It's an honor and a privilege to be appearing here, and I do this full time. Politics, dissidence. It's my full time occupation. So you name a time, and I'll be here.
Very good, and I'll probably let you, if you want to come back on as just kind of like because I like to get like a kind of a big group going. I think that kind of makes for like a fun show with high energy, and
Yes.
So
We all know that I bring high energy in every show.
I thought you did very well today. Like,
thank you.
Yeah. So Mariana and John, like both of you are of course welcome to come back on any episode. If you see me putting on like announcing another show and you're like, oh, I want to join that, feel free to join, let me know. And
Will do.
yeah.
Alrighty.
You can count on it, my friend. Alrighty. And Mariana, do you have any final thoughts on what you got going on also?
Just a couple things. Only once a year I do t-shirts and tanks, and those are available now for pre-order.
Oh, that's right. I should have put that in the slideshow. I forgot to put that in the slideshow. I did forward it to the WAC channel for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't wear t-shirts or tanks, but I do wear polos. And
yes.
Your polo is going to be in my wardrobe very soon.
Oh, good. Yes, I also this year I am doing a 100% cotton men's polo with the Witch Mother bind rune embroidered in white. So all of those are available now for pre-order, and they won't be for too much longer. And this isn't something I do all the time. So if you'd like to get your order in, now's the time to do that. And I will be open back up for customs in July.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. So I think we'll close up shop there then. As they say in Canada, peace out. I say that like at the end of every show for some reason. I have no idea why.